I'm going to put this bow with these limbs that I'm going to unbox this morning. And these are really sharp looking limbs. I've had a set before and I really liked them. So I knew what I was getting when I ordered these limbs. They should be very nice looking on this bow, and I'll do an unboxing here. So these are top archery limbs. They're made in China, and they are affordable. They're not going to completely break the bank. And they even come with, there's the top archery. They even come with, wow, super nice limb covers. Look at that. You can see that here. They're nice looking graphics design there. So let's open them up and see what we have here. All right, so this is what they look like, packaged in plastic. Get them opened. I'll take a look at this first one. So, as you can see, the wood on these things is absolutely gorgeous. There's the logo on the back, so you don't need to put camo cloth on these or any kind of tape. They'll look real nice on the wooden recurve handle. Now these limbs are made specifically for a 19-inch riser. So I was able to order 35 pounds exactly, is what these are. Open up the second pair here. I like these limb covers. These are pretty nice. Alrighty. Alrighty. So you can see there's the graphic logo there. Nice natural looking limbs. These are 35 pounds. Or if you can see, it says 35 pounds at 19 inches. And on a 17-inch riser, they would be 37 pounds. So this will be the top. So they'll go in here like this. They fit in very nicely. That was a simple, easy fit, easy slide. This will be the bottom section of these limbs. Again, they fit real nice in there. Really easy to put in. I mean, they're snug, but I'm not struggling to put them in. So I'll try one string that may be close to fitting, but I'll probably have to make a string for this bow. But it's just from the outset, you can see this is a very sharp looking traditional bow, and I hope it shoots as well as it looks. I'm really tickled by the combination of this riser and these limbs. Let's string it up, see what it looks like with the one string I have, which is this one here, which might become close to fitting. That looks like it might actually work. I'm using a stringer that came with this Black Hunter bow. It is good. I mean, it's high quality. It's designed so the limb tip won't slip off when you're stringing the bow. So you put the bottom end here under this. Probably it might be fake leather. It probably is. And you can put this one right here. And that'll put pressure on the bow limbs when you step on this bottom base here. And then I should be able to slide this right up in there, and we'll see what it looks like. You can already see that I have these limbs pretty far out. So I'm gonna go ahead and crank them in. I want them to be where the wood top of this limb is in flush with the riser. So I'm gonna go ahead and change that before I actually string this bow. I'm adjusting the limb bolts in flush with the riser. I put the bottom one in 2 turns, so now it's flush with the edge of this riser. And then I'm doing the same with the top. I did notice that the Allen wrench that fits on the outer limb bolt is different than the one that fits on the inner. The inner inside here is a smaller diameter hex tool Allen wrench. So all you do is put this guy in here and loosen it up first. Try it on this side here. And you try to hold the main bolt still. So you just get that loosened a couple turns. And then you simply, I want to make this go in 2 full cranks, which is clockwise if you hold the bow like this. So I'm going to be going in 1 and then 2. That's 2 full turns in. And then I simply just lock it down with the smaller size Allen wrench. And just get it snug for now. That's it. Because I'm going to end up fine tuning the tiller later on. So we'll go ahead and put these limbs on. I like the way they fit. They're not too tight, they're not too loose. I mean, they fit really nice. That's just luck of the draw. That doesn't usually happen. So we'll go ahead and string this up. The lower limb tip in there. And use this nice wide leather top here. Put on the limb. And let's go ahead and string this baby up. Now this Lark riser, it does have lateral limb adjustments. As you can see, there's an adjustment here, both sides. So the limb alignment can be adjusted, which is a good thing. When I got this bow, I do not remember adjusting anything. And when I put these particular limbs on, these top archery traditional limbs, I checked the alignment with the riser. And as you can see, it's perfectly straight. It's in perfectly straight line with the riser. The limbs are centered with the riser. And that's just pure luck, because that's never happened to me ever with an ILF riser. Just so happens that they're centered. They may have come that way from the factory, and I'm the second owner of this riser. They just are just centered as they are. So it's just less work that I have to do. All I need to do is pick the right tiller and knock height and arrow spine and arrow points and get it roaring. Now this bow with these limbs And this riser is designed for fast flight material, like I have on these limbs. This is fast flight material. It's a faster bowstring, and it's designed for performance. However, in a hunting situation, being quiet is number one. So I will probably give these a good shot and then decide if I want to make a second string. But I'm really impressed that this string fits. Now the brace height is also right where I like it. My web is 8 inches, so just by looking at it, it's about an 8.5-inch brace height. And that's about right where I set the brace heights for all of my hunting bows. I definitely want to be over 8 inches. And the reason for that is when you're wearing thick hunting clothes that are bulky, it tends to lessen the space you have between your arm and the bowstring. So the farther back the bowstring is on your forearm, the less likely it's going to hit your clothing when you release the bowstring. So that's one reason I do it. And the second reason I use a higher brace height than is probably even recommended is the bows are a little bit more forgiving. They're probably even a little bit quieter. Now, from a performance perspective, the lower the brace height, usually the faster the arrow speed will be, because the arrow's in contact with the bow string longer. So it's maximizing all the vibration from this bow. However, I'm mostly interested in accuracy, quietness, and functionality of a close range shot at a whitetail when I'm hunting. Typically, I like those 10 yards or in shots. So I'm looking more for stealth and aesthetics. So this bow has the aesthetics that I like. It's absolutely gorgeous. Couldn't be happier with the looks. I'll get it set up with a nocking point, and I'll set the tiller where I like it. And then tomorrow I'll go out to the range and I'll test this bow. And I'm also going to take this one along as a comparison. This morning I'm going to shoot this bow for the first time at the range. And this is a White Feather Lark recurve riser. It's 19 inches long, and I have these top archery bamboo limbs on here at 35 pounds. We'll see how she shoots. Not too bad for the first shot. I have tuned this bow, this White Feather Lark, done some good fine tuning, initial tuning. There's not a lot you can do with traditional bows, but what you can do, obviously, is the nocking point height, obviously the brace height, and if it's an ILF riser, you can adjust the tiller. So what I did is, since I like how this black hunter shoots so well, it's so quiet and fast and accurate, I duplicated the brace height for these two bows. So they're both 8.25 inches. I always make sure the brace height is at least 8 inches on any recurve bow that I shoot. So they match equally with the brace height. and they actually are equal with the tiller too. So this Black Hunter comes with a positive tiller of plus 1/8 of an inch, and this one I set it to be the same, 1/8 of an inch. It was really interesting when I tuned this White Feather Lark in my garage. I noticed how I had to set the knocking point quite a bit higher than I do on this Black Hunter. Again, one of the nice things about this Black Hunter bow is that I'm able to shoot with a 3/8 standard knock height, which I use for all my target shooting. And I use 3/8 for basically shoot through rests. I mean, there's flipper rests and cushion plungers on my target bows. But this Black Hunter is so well designed and made with this nice crown shelf here with a nice curve on it, and the way I have the rest set up, that I don't have to change. I can still use 3/8 for this bow. That is not the case with this bow. As you can see, this White Feather Lark has a rounded shelf, but it's not nearly as rounded as the Black Hunters. So what that means is that when I'm shooting this White Feather Lark, I'm getting more contact with the rug. So this is I guess a rug rest, shooting off the shelf with a rug. I use this felt material. I like that for the bottom, and then I just use a standard material that came with this Black Hunter bow as a side shelf. And I like the clearance I'm getting. I like the arrow flight, but I have to set this knocking point on this White Feather Lark. I have to set it 3/4 of an inch over square, above square. So that's quite a big difference between these two bows. But that's what I have to do to get the arrow and the point and the knock end to come out straight. So that means that when the arrow is released and it's hitting the shelf, there's a significant bounce. So I have to keep the knock end fairly high so that after that bounce it levels out and the shaft flies straight and true to the target. Okay, my initial impression is that the bow is pretty quiet. I can see the arrow flight is really good. It's grouping with nice round circles. The only thing I need to work on is the archer. I'm only shooting once a week right now, and it shows. I'm going to go quickly to my other bow and fire another group of arrows and see the difference. Alright, here goes the Black Hunter. So I have the same exact brace height, which is an 1/8 1/4. I have the same exact tiller, which is a positive 1/8 tiller. That means this tiller is, the lower bottom limb is 1/8 of an inch closer to the bowstring than the top. That's a standard tuning for a finger shooter. And I have the nice 3/8 inch brace height or knocking point for this bow. This bow is pretty sweet. Let's see how she shoots. Now it does seem to be faster, which is really strange, but actually that could very well be the difference in knock height and how it relates to the gap. Probably the case.